Yo, what's going on, guys? So this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Blah blah blah. You know the deal. All right, let's get into it. Welcome back. So in this video today, I'm going to be going over. What am I going over? I don't even know. Oh yeah, inversions. Okay, so inversions with fair value gaps, inversions with breaker blocks. Not gonna lie, this does look like not a terrible short as I'm watching live time. But I probably want to short it just because of the higher time frame. Anyways, breaker blocks. Inversion fair value gaps. Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. So if you already know what a fair value gap is, okay, there's another name. It's called a SIBI and a BISI. Okay. So this right here would be a SIBI. Okay. So this is just a bearish fair value gap. And what a SIBI stands for is a sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. Sorry, I'm doing something real quick. Sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. So this is SIBI. Okay, so I'm just going to label this SIBI as the rest of the video. And then this right here, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Okay, that's good. And I will refer to this as BISI for short. So this is a SIBI, okay? And something like this would be a BISI, okay? Why would this be BISI? Well, it's a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, okay? This is just another name for a fair value gap, okay? How do I use these? So first, you have to be on the bigger time frame, okay? You have to be in the bigger time frame, and I'm actually going to take a demo here just to see if this works out. I did not anticipate doing this, but I'm going to put my stop up here. Take profit down here. We'll see if that works. Okay, so what I look for is I always like to make sure, like I always look at the 5 minute. Okay, and what you do is, for you newer guys, I was not good at want to know like how to use these SIBIs and BISIs, right? So if you were new, what I suggest is if you see any sort of fair value gap and discount, okay? So in the bigger time frame, this is kind of two fair value gaps. I'll just draw it like this. I'm just gonna draw this one for now. Okay, but this fair value gap, this is a BISI, okay? And this is in discount, right? So what happens? We go under it. We do not use this as resistance, which you would want to see. We go back over and then we use it as support, okay? These are the kinds of things you look for. And you're not going to get this straight off the bat, okay? You're kind of going to be confused, like, oh, why would you use this support? Okay, you're going to have to back test really and leave these in the chart and watch the reactions, because there is some that I would not draw this one in live time, but there are some in live time that I do draw where I'm, okay, I want to see this use the support. Okay, what would be one of them? This would be one of them right here. Do you see how this is such a really good fair value gap? It's a very confident, it's a high probability candle, which again, high probability candles are candles with like big body, small wicks. Okay, hopefully you get that's a high probability candle. And when during the time, okay, we hit it, we retrace a little bit. Okay, during this time, I am looking to see, okay, will this fair value gap be respected, or will we go above it? Once we close above it, you do not want to see close back below it. This is kind of when I use it as support. Okay, so this is SIBI. So off this candle right here, let me just go to replay mode. After this candle right here, okay, I do not want to see it close below this candle. I'm bullish now as long as we hold this candle. This is such a solid candle where it's good. Okay, and then here's another retrace inside. Okay, you don't really get a confirmation long setup. Let me just go to 1 minute. This is where I'm looking. Inside this, I will look for a confirmation long setup. So like here's one. Okay, here's one. Their stop would have been a little, okay, if you took that one, your stop, you wouldn't have gotten stopped. I know some people, my voice said they took this one and got stopped, but their stop should be on the swing low. But like this is kind of what I'm watching for. So this is such like a major fair value gap where when we break through it, you want to see it use as support, okay? And it's the best to use in the 5 minute, because that's like the confirmation time frame, to where the 1 minute you will see we do get some closes below and above it. Okay, but like this right here, you want to see this use as support when we break through it, okay? And you want a strong break and you want a strong close below it. So if I go to the 5 minute, okay, what's another obvious fair value gap you see, okay? If we look overnight, like right here, this is an obvious fair value gap, okay? You see this is in premium, and you see we reject it, okay? I'm not taking this on my screen because it was a fair value gap on premium. I'm dragging over to the right, okay? Now look. See how it lines up with this fair value gap? Some people see this fair value gap, but they don't see this, and they're like, and they have their entry down here, and they're like, oh, why didn't I get my entry retraced to? Okay, the reason is because of this right here. Okay, if you ever see a SIBI in the way, that means you do not want this retraced to. You do not want to close below the SIBI anyways. Okay, so the chances are, if you're looking along this order block, that means you would have broken the SIBI, which would not have been good, so this order block probably would have been a bad long. Okay, so if you're looking to take a long position from this fair value gap alone, look to the left of the chart, see if there's any of these old fair value gaps. If we are above it, you do not want to see us go back below it. Okay, so if I go to the, let me just see how this position's doing real quick. Okay, we're just chopping around in here. Jeez. Yeah, this is probably gonna fail. It's whatever though. So okay, if we go back to like the 1 hour. Okay, right here. Let me close this. Right here. I have this fair value on my screen. I get we're rejecting it, right? If we were to see a push above this, okay, a strong close above this, I'd want to see this use as support. What does that mean? That means if we got to close above this, I'd go to the 1 minute time frame. If we were traced back into this, I'd go to the 1 minute time frame and I'd look for a long setup. As long as we're holding this. Anything else below, I'm not. Same thing with like right here. Okay, this old fair value gap, it's a good fair value gap. We rejected it and then we dumped. Okay, when we get a break above us, I'm bullish as long as we hold this now, okay? I do not want to see us go back below this. This is kind of an interesting one because this is I wouldn't really expect us to retrace down there anyways. So that's kind of an interesting one. But like if we go to like right here, okay? We just totally squeeze above this fair value gap. Boom. Okay, you can see it's used as support. Okay, but in this case, it wouldn't matter because we already took out some sort of liquidity. So you can still see it's pretty much respected. Okay, like this one right here. This is a little more advanced, but this one is also one. And see how we kind of go through it and go above it. This is why you're going to need to backtest yourself and test these out yourself. Okay, I'm not looking to short this blatantly. I'm just marking this old fair value gap. I'm marking it. Okay, and what I'm doing after I marks it is I'm not looking to short it like outright. I'm not just gonna slap short just because we're in this fair value gap. It's just another point of confluence where I'm looking for a 1 minute long from this. And this is an old one where we break it, go above it. Okay, break it. Okay, so this is a very old BISI. But also it's an inversion breaker or a breaker block, okay? And again, ICT use these inversion breaker blocks as we saw today. So if we go to like I think it was in the 1 minute. Okay, if we go right here is this breaker block he marked all day. I don't know. I think he used this breaker specifically because see this breaker before this giant candle. Okay, I think it's just out of this, it's just the most significant. So he had this marked all day. I think he was technically this whole candle would be the breaker, by the way. He had this marked all day. And what he did is he saw we were holding this breaker block, and what he did is he longed. And yes, there were equal lows below, but he also has 30 years of experience and knows that we were holding this breaker block. This is more of an advanced one, but if you're really trying to backtest and use these inversion fair value gaps, extend these to the right of your screen. After they've been used, do not delete them and just see what happens, okay? This one is too advanced for me. I would not have drawn this, okay? But like stuff like this, see this one right here? If this looks like a textbook short at the time, okay, if we go back, if this looks like a textbook short at a time and we end up breaking through it, then chances are we're probably going to see it use as support. And if we do, that means you're bullish, okay? So I just keep them on my screen just in case. Yep, you can see we use it as support right here, okay? I know people who shorted this fair value gap right here. One of the reasons why this didn't work is because we had this SIBI in the way because we bounced off of it, right? So Again, drag these to the left of your or to the right of your screen. You're just having to back test it yourself. Okay, you can do the same thing with volume imbalances. Okay, so like there's a volume balance right here. Okay, you can see we bounce off it, reject it, or fall through it, reject it again. Then we break through it, and then let's say like you go long again. You don't want us going back onto this volume balance because this is just another PD array you want to see hold. Okay, you can go into this low, you can go into this fair value gap, but again, when ICT says you don't want 3 PD arrays fail, this would be like the third PD array, because it's also an order block, it's also an old volume balance. So this is the stuff that I draw on my chart. And for you guys who came here and are wondering, okay, well, how exactly do we use these? I can't really say how exactly you use them. What I do is, in my next commentary, what I basically say is, if we're on like the 5-minute time frame, what I'm telling my chat and what I'm telling my premium, right? I have this drawn out, okay, right here, and I'm saying I'm only bullish if we break above and use this as support. And what does that tell me? That tells me you're going higher. So if I see that happen, then I'm bullish, and this is kind of how I use them. Okay, it has to be an obvious one. Like it has to be a pretty obvious one. Like even this one right here. Okay. If I see us go under this and use it as resistance, I'm bearish until we hit some sort of low, like right here, let's say. Okay, so we just hit that low now. We came up, rejected it, then hit this low. It was also an order block. Now that we hit some sort of low, this doesn't matter anymore. Obviously, if this would have been a partials, and your target probably would have been down here too, but you would have just got stopped to break even. Once you rejected and hit some sort of obvious low, I kind of disregarded after that. But again, it kind of helps determine a bias, because if you see like an obvious fair value gap, right, like this one right here, okay, this is an old SIBI. If you see an obvious fair value gap and we reject it, we go back up, reject it again, okay, just keep it in your chart until we're kind of away from it, until we hit some sort of liquidity. Okay, I would probably, ICT had this on a chart the other day. Okay, I would have probably had this one drawn, to be honest. I'm not sure why. Again, I don't know why he had this one drawn, but again, these are important. Just keep them, drag them to the right of your screen, backtest them. I'm going to make a future video on this to try to say, okay, here's a better way to use them. If you watch Zusi's market maker model video, what he looks for is he looks for a break above these, and then he looks to use these as support. And if you see that likely means we're going to hit some sort of kind of high. So that's what I would use them for now. See if they get broken and see if they get used as support or resistance. If they do, that means we're probably going for some sort of low, right? Okay, so that's all I got on those for now. I will make a future video. I'm going to check my position right now. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what's happening here. I'm just going to get out. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, just ask me in my Discord. Feel free to ask me questions. Again, look what's happening here, okay? This is probably going to dump now that I get out. But look, this fair value gap right here, this is just another point of confluence. Okay, this is also BPR. Now that we're under this fair value gap, we had a strong close under. I want to see this use as resistance. Okay, that's kind of my reasoning. I'm like, okay, we want to see this use as resistance. Same thing with this one right here. When we broke above this one, look what happened. We used it as support, okay? We used it as support here. So we're kind of in a 50-50 spot right now, which is kind of why I got out. I just impulse buyed when I started the video. I'm not really I'm done for the day personally. But again, like something like this, right? If let's say we end up breaking below this in the future, you'd want to see this as used as a resistance, okay? But that's only if we break below it. If we don't break below it, I'm still bullish, right? So if this helped you, let me know if you have any questions. Again, I'm going to make a future video on this sometime in the future, going a little more over these in advance, because this is kind of all over the place. And I'm just kind of telling you right now, you should start drawing them, back testing them, look at their history, right? But again, that is it for today. Hope you guys enjoy, and peace.